come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Well, when this is trending on NBC, it needs to be discussed because there's always some type of agenda behind it if they actually bring attention to it. Especially, knowing how much they discredit us when it comes to things like chemtrails, or as they like to call them, contrails, where if I tag the word chemtrails or contrails in the video, you'll see a bogus definition from Wikipedia underneath it. But there's a bunch of stories out there in the last couple of days about chemtrailing. Specifically, these from NBC and all their local affiliates saying, do airplane contrails add to climate change? And it says yes, and the problem is about to get worse. New research suggests the global warming effect will triple by 2050 as air travel increases. Now, everybody out there is pretty much aware that what global warming is and what a hoax global warming is. This article, which really should be talking more about the effects, the chemicals that... Actually, why don't we just start with the fact that we have a government who has this organization called the Central Intelligence Agency, which we believe is here, Central Intelligence. They're here to protect us and make sure no operations are happening against us, even though everything that they do, every operation they create is an attack on us. It should start by saying, let's talk about Project Cloverleaf, right? And what is Project Cloverleaf, and why would the government be doing this? But instead, they want to focus on climate change, and yes, geoengineering, which is important, but they don't want to talk about the effects that chemtrails, that the aluminum, the actual things that are in this crap has on people's bodies, on their minds, the increase in Alzheimer's. They don't want to talk about that stuff. They always want to link everything to global warming. Now, I'm not saying that geoengineering isn't real, because it is. And this is all done through the particles that they're laying in the sky, from aluminum to, some of the blood cells and particles that they're being found in chemtrails from people who are actually scientists who are willing to question things, who aren't a part of it. Then they get discredited, but they go speak in front of Congress, and they get looked at like they have 10 heads. We see chemtrailing where? Everywhere. We see it in America, Australia, Belgium, Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Holland, Ireland, Italy, New Zealand, Scotland, Sweden. You name it. People will do videos. You could look up videos of people just filming their skies, and you see it, and you go, well, that's not normal, because those aren't real clouds. And then, what am I recently covering? Talking about fertility rates and things like that. Well, could dumping aluminum on people be helping their fertility rates? The article says, despite conspiracy theories about so-called chemtrails, there's no evidence that the white plumes seen trailing from high-flying airplanes are part of a secret government program to spray toxic chemicals into the atmosphere for mass sterilization or mind control. So anytime you were to set a paragraph like that, obviously it's just immediately going to cause deflection. It's immediately going to cause people to roll their eyes. Giant government conspiracy, causing people to be sterilized. And of course, they have to put mind control in there, right? If it was worded properly, people would read it and they'd go, well, what's in the chemtrail? Well, what is Project Cloverleaf? Tell me more. I'd like to know, NBC. But they want to make sure they started off with that. And then they, of course, play it into their agenda. But contrails do pose a threat. Scientists say they contribute to climate change by trapping heat that radiates upward from Earth's surface. A new study published in the journal Atmospheric Chemistry and Physics suggests that the global warming effect will triple by 2050 as air travel grows in popularity and new technology enables planes to reach the higher cruising altitudes where contrails tend to form. Given the forecast for the increase in air traffic, which is very large, this contrail effect will increase even more than the carbon dioxide impact. says study co-author Ulrich Burkhardt, atmospheric physicist at the German Aerospace Center's Institute of Atmospheric Physics. Quote, and so it will remain the largest aviation impact on the climate, end quote, outpacing the contribution to warming from the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in airplane exhaust. The warming effect from contrails already represented the largest contributor to aviation's climate impact back in 2005, when aviation accounted for 5% of the human impact on climate. That's less than the overall contribution from automobiles and other ground vehicles, but aviation's impact will likely increase given the growing air traffic. So far we see nothing. We know global warming is one of their top agendas. We hear Marina Abramovich talking about it, Leonardo DiCaprio speaking in front of the UN about it, all these celebrities shoving it down everybody's throat. Nothing in here talking about an increase in Alzheimer's, the fertility rates in this country, around the world declining for population control, nothing, right? And it says cloudy with a chance of warming. Scientists have been trying to understand contrails since World War II. Have they? Have they been trying to understand it, or have they been trying to control it and then dump it on us? Because, somebody could explain about Project Cloverleaf. That would be nice. Scientists have been trying to understand contrails since World War II, when massive air raids over Europe filled the skies with the now familiar white lines, but there's still considerable uncertainty about them. One issue is that just 10% of flights create contrails. The icy plumes form when water vapor in the air gathers and condenses on soot particles in aircraft engine exhaust, but they tend to form only at high altitudes, 5 miles or higher above the planet's surface, where temperatures of minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit are common, blah, blah, blah. It says some days there aren't contrails forming, some days they're short-lived, and other days there's long-lasting and soon covering the whole sky. Well, why don't you ask our government why that is, why they choose the certain days that they do? Because, you'll get one day out of how many? Say you had a stretch of 20 days of sun in a row, no rain, that kind of stuff. The odds of having one blue sky day the entire day without even seeing one chemtrail are like 2%, 5% maybe. I've seen like 2 this year. Many contrails last just a few minutes before the frozen water turns back into vapor and the fumes dissipate. Others persist in the atmosphere for more than 10 minutes, and some spread out to become, they're actually naming them clouds, cirrus clouds. These persistent contrails are believed to have a more significant effect on global temperatures. Another complication is that contrails can have both the heat-trapping warming effect and a separate cooling effect by reflecting light from the sun back into space. For example, contrails at night tend to have a warming effect because they mainly trap heat coming from the Earth without reflecting any incoming sunlight. New research may overstate the climate warming effect of contrails by treating them all like heat-trapping cirrus clouds, says Judith Rosenau. Oh, that's an interesting last name. An aeronautical meteorologist at the Dresden University. These titles these people have. Said the impact of contrails on global warming is often reduced to a warming effect derived from global estimations, where contrails are considered as homogeneous in infinitely extended cirrus cloud. They say stuff like this so that nobody gets it, and they just go, well, we're smarter than you, we're scientists. Talk about Project Cloverleaf. Talk about all of these things that are on the rise, and there's no explanation for it. Like dementia, Alzheimer's, fertility rates plummeting, cancer increase, despite trillions, gazillions of dollars for quote-unquote research. It's unbelievable. This is all the article talks about. In the future, there's going to be different types of airplanes that are going to, what are they going to do? Tell us they have new air trains with eco-friendly contrails, and they're going to say, nope, it's plant seed we're spraying in the air now, right? And then, obviously before they get into any of this stuff, they have to start the whole article off and say, this conspiracy theory about that it's a secret government program spraying toxic chemicals in the atmosphere for mass sterilization or mind control. Right? And discredit any of the people who have researched it, studied it, gone in front of Congress. It's a complete and utter joke. They're obviously going to find a way to deflect on it because more people are seeing how ridiculous it is. And for them to say that they last in the sky for 10 minutes, are you kidding me? Yeah, they last, but then they just spread. They spread into a gray sky, and then another one comes flying through. Then you see 4 X's in the sky, and then about an hour later, the sky is just covered in haze, and we're supposed to just go, oh, I guess it's just a hazy day. Maybe a storm will come through, because we're all so stupid that we can't see what you're doing. But sadly, there's people that really don't believe this. They think they're engineers. They think they're smart. They think, oh, yes, these are people who are absolutely insane. The particles that are in there are completely safe and normal. The explanation for all of these things that are happening in our world have to do with nothing that can be explained. We can't explain why fertility rates are dropping at unbelievable heights. Lowest it's ever been. We can't explain why people would be able to, most families were 4, now it's 1. Oh, it's because the women want to work, as they're going to tell us, and there's not time to have kids. We can't explain Alzheimer's, dementia, all these diseases that are just flying through the roof statistically, autism. Unbelievable. So we have NBC and the mainstream media talking about chemtrails. So I thought I'd share that with you because it's just an absolute joke. It truly is. They'll never tell you what really is behind any of this stuff. Just like when they talk about any of these conspiracy things that they call conspiracies, which are more facts that pop up, they just deflect with ridiculous stuff. This whole article is just about global warming. Nothing in here about any of the other stuff. And they make sure to deflect right off the beginning so that people immediately think, oh, yeah, maybe that. But, the scientists haven't proved, nobody has proven that this is good or bad. So just shut up because you're not a scientist. Oh, okay. Because it's normal to have blue skies turn into complete haze skies. And for all these planes to just be flying over our heads day and night. Pretty unbelievable how dumbed down our world is. But this is why. Chemtrails is just another part of the reason why our world is dumbed down. And with the fluoride and all the other crap that people put in their body or that gets dumped on us. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.